Hi, welcome to Angie B's house. As you can see, we're outside, so we're going to start part 2 of taking back my house. I'm not for sure what I'm going to get done today, but I'm going to work on the firewood racks, getting them all cleaned up and prepared to receive firewood for the winter. Now the pieces that I'm picking up right now, they have been all too big for my wood burning stove. So I'm putting them in the cart to move them elsewhere, keep them separate, so that hopefully I can process those into smaller pieces. I wonder where this came from. Silly dog. I know it may seem disturbing that I'm not putting the organic material in its own separate yard waste bag. However, the waste management system where I live has not caught up with the rest of the country or the world for that matter, and just don't offer or require yard waste to be separated from the regular garbage. So I just put it in there because I can't burn where I'm living. And it just piles up and piles up. So no other way to get rid of it. So my camera frustrates me. I have a Canon DSLR camera and it records very great video, but that's only if it actually recognizes that you push the record button. So obviously I lost some footage. I have decided from now on I'm just going to use my iPhone. But as you can see, I've already got part of the wood stacked. And here I'm just taking off all of the loose bark and putting it into a garbage can, and I'll just use that as kindling. Okay, so I know that doesn't seem like I got a lot done, but one, my battery's dying, and two, this is about all I can get done in a day, or at one spurt of time. So I will go ahead and go in, get something to eat, rest a little bit, and perhaps film some more later. But I'm happy. It looks a lot better. And all the wood that was on the ground is now all stacked. So let me just sit here real quick and show you what I did. Okay, so these pieces over here, not that many, but those I can burn as is. These most of them are just too long, but like this one is too big. These are short enough, they're just too big. So I hope happy to have them sorted so that in a future video you'll see that I will process them so that I can put them on that side of the rack. And then I have another rack that I have to clean up as well. And hopefully we can get that done tomorrow. As you can see, I'm not outside now. This is the next day though. And these flowers were in the cart that was in the room before, but now they are all over my table. It's actually a couple days before my mother's funeral, and I just had to get these rearranged. These are all flowers that she picked out, as well as vases, and she really loved them. They were in her room until the day she died, so I wanted to use those. And this is the wreath that I had made her that was hanging on her door, as well as her senior picture that I had added to it. And so let's go ahead and get these started. I'll move you in so you can see better and get these rearranged and ready for a funeral. So I decided to start with this heart-shaped wreath that I made her a couple of years ago. Some of the flowers had fallen off, as well as the ribbon that I had made some little decorations with had gotten squished because it had been moved from her place to my place for storage for the season and then back to her place. So it was just looking a little sad and I wanted to get it fluffed up.
Seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I've changed for the better this time. I thought I would never be fine. I strive just to say I'm alright, and for the first time in a long time I'm alright. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago.
And you might be asking, Firewood Rex? Reading? Flower arranging for her mother's funeral? This girl's really weird. And I'd have to agree. But this is what I was able to do in the days that I was able to record. And so I just went with it. I know, weird, strange, whatever. but I really needed to get the fire racks done, and it was beautiful weather and I was feeling well, so I wanted to make sure I started to get those done in time to get the firewood in a couple weeks. But also it was the week before my mother's funeral, and I wanted to be sure I had plenty of time to get the flower arrangements done. So here you have it.
But all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago. I'm not falling, I'll push all my chips and call all in. I'll bet on myself, you keep stalling. I hear destiny and it's calling. I'll keep my head up high through the downs and lows. And we're all going life, still nobody knows. But I'ma choose what's right and take what comes and goes. And ain't no one in life holding me back no more. I've seen a lot of change, been through a lot of pain. Some things are not the same as they were a year ago, but all will be okay. I move on each and every day. The past is where it stays, way back a year ago.
So in the video of cleaning off the table originally, you saw me put a box in the middle of the table. That box is actually a box of rocks, and I put it on the table knowing that I had this project to do. These vases are very light, and I just didn't want them to fall over and break. So I wanted to go ahead and put some rocks in the bottom of each of the vases, and in the process, I am rearranging the flowers a little bit to, make them look really pretty, and I hope that you enjoy them. I will show each of them as I get done with them. The first one I showed you was actually already done.
Back a year ago.
Well, I hope you've been enjoying the footage so far of me arranging these flowers. But while I'm editing it, I realized that there's a lot of choppy footage, and I think it's because of my camera only recording so much time, and then I look at the camera and it's recording, but then I look away and forget about it, and next thing I know, it stopped recording, which again, another reason I think I'm going to just start using my iPhone. But I hope you enjoy the rest of the video. So I'm just going to do a quick mop here using my Swiffer wet jet, and then these are the pads that I get at the Dollar Tree. Okay, so this is firewood rack number 2, and I want to get it also prepared to receive firewood. Plan is to, or was to, move all this wood over to the other rack so that, this one's completely empty. Thankfully, the gentleman that I get firewood from is extremely nice, and he will pull his truck back here, if he can get it back here, and he will actually stack the wood for me from his truck. But I'm at a bit of a quandary, because I thought this was just nothing but weeds. However, upon closer inspection, you'll see what I mean here in a second. It's not weeds. Now, if you can tell what it is right now, but it is mostly a volunteer tomato plant. And it's just absolutely huge. And I mean, it's almost October, so the likelihood of any of these blooms becoming actual tomatoes is next to none. But what do I do with these? I take them off the vine now. They're not going to ripen because they're too green. See, and it goes all the way out here. I believe they're cherry tomatoes. Which, cherry tomatoes aren't my fan, but when you got a plant that's so big, you kind of hate to just destroy it. Oh, you know what? Look at this. Look at this. Look. I actually have some tomatoes. That one's got a blemish on it, but this one's perfect. Sorry, my nose is a little drippy today. And then, and it goes all the way over here. Back down here. Well, this is actually a different plant. Well, no. Maybe it's the same one. But then, come over here. There's another plant here, which this one, see, even down there, they're itty bitty, but there's tomatoes down there. And then you come over here, and this one, there's a dead weed, and this plant has started to use it as a trellis. And on this one, I have a whole branch full of tomatoes. Oops, dropped one. Let me get that. Where'd it go? That's probably the good one too, isn't it? Yeah. Where'd that go? Where'd we go? Where'd it go? Oh, and here's some, like if I unbury them, here's a ton more. Totally surprised. Well, So much for the good one. Sorry for the sniffing. My nose is dripping. That's what happens when I bend over. But this one goes all the way out here. But like I said, being October, there's no way those flowers are gonna develop into any type of tomatoes. But, you know, what do I do with those? Do I save this plant for those few little tomatoes? So, oh, and there's some down there. I don't know if you can see those. Yep, you can. That are huge. And if I just get rid of this grass, they just might turn into, you know, viable tomatoes and ripen. So, let me do some thinking and we'll figure out what we're going to do. After quick thought, I really hate throwing away potential food. So I did go ahead and decide to move the firewood, trying not to damage the tomato plant, weed around it, as well as the one over here that you can't see anymore, and see what I get. So let me make sure that you can see what I'm doing, and then I will go ahead and get started. Okay, now that I have all of the firewood moved, I figured I'd come over to this plant and just see how big of a plant I really have by moving a lot of the dead branches from this dead tree, as well as, well, what I was trying to tell you before the wind rudely interrupted me, haha, is that now that I have the firewood moved, I really needed to do something that was a little less physical. So I decided to go ahead and try to rescue this tomato plant that was growing on the dead weed by trimming back the dead weed as well as the grass growing around it. And that way I could see how big of a plant I have. The side of the plant, but again, battery, I need new batteries. They don't last very long, but also at this point I'm pretty tuckered, and actually, let me show you something. That, my friends, is the pile of weeds that I pulled out. I was going to go ahead and leave them there for the mower to pick up, but that's a little much, so after I get done with this part, I'll just go ahead and do that off camera. So when I have more battery, I will bring it back out here and we'll do some more. Well, that's it for this video. Hope that you liked it. Please comment, like, and subscribe. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you know when I upload the next video. Thanks for watching and have a great day. Hopefully now I have cleared out enough that I can get closer to the plant. But first is going to be trimming back some of this tree where the plant isn't growing on to get it out of the way. Oh, and I brought a tool to hopefully help.